Hey everybody, welcome to another Real Debaters production. I'm your host, Micheal Petrow, in the living room this week, the virtual living room that is now Zoom. We have our part two of the Soundtrack Your Life debate. Last week was part one. If you're tuning in for the first time, I strongly suggest listening to it for some context. Sean Mcginity from the Seangeek podcast and myself went first. This week, it's Martin Navarro from the show and special musical guest, Rusty Matyas. Rusty's from so maybe you've heard of some of these bands. The Waking Eyes, Imaginary Cities, the Sheepdogs. Unbelievably fucking talented musician and solid human being and fun guy and loves to talk movies. He came on the show to not only debate with us, which it's not really a debate, it's just a really great conversation. It was really hard to be like, your moment sucks. But I'll get into why that makes sense in a second. But it was great to have him on, not only to play the game and have some fun, but also from a musical perspective, it was fun to get some knowledge on why these choices work, and then just in composing and arranging stuff. Plethora of knowledge that human being is. So I strongly suggest to check out Rusty's bio portion of this episode. It's got all of his links to all of the stuff he's done. He's also the guy that made a YouTube video. He did Bohemian Rhapsody in Klingon. He's that guy. If you've heard about that video, he's the guy that made that video, and he talks about how he made it on this episode. So that's something that's a fucking gem. If we're not, he is. Okay, there you have it. So for anybody who's tuning in though, and you don't want to listen to me and do the other episode, which is fine. This whole debate conversation is about taking 4 moments from your life, pairing them with a song, and defending why, if your life was a movie, why that song would be in that moment, right? Because sound is, I don't want to to simplify it, but it's the second most pivotal thing next to this fucking story, right? So music, scores, instrumentals, all those things say stuff. And we got a super fucking huge eclectic list of songs, which we made a playlist out of. That's the point I'm trying to make. There's a Spotify playlist. After this episode is up, all of our songs are on the playlist so you can listen to it. I think I missed one. So yeah, but we'll post it in the show notes. Anyways, that's what the show is all about. Martin Navarro, Rusty Matyas, following part 2 from part 1 of the Soundtrack Your Life debate. Shout out to everybody in San Jose. We love you guys. Thanks for giving us all this love. You're outside of Canada. You're the little pocket of the world that has got our attention right now. So send us an email. Tell us what you love. Tell us what you don't love. Give us an idea for a show. We'll dedicate it to you. The Real Debaters, REEL for the spelling, at gmail.com. I did a little thing a couple of weeks ago with Kevin Smith. It's on our Instagram page. I was very lucky to sit down with the man, the myth, the silent Bob, the fantastic human, great filmmaker, stupid, funny storyteller. I got to sit down I got to work with Skip the Dishes and do a Q&A with him for Movies Pop Up in Toronto until December 9th, by the way. So just head to the Skip the Dishes app to get your movies on. Nobody's paying me to say that because it was just super fun fucking time, and who doesn't love the guy? So I want to help promote that shit, right? Anyways, that's on our Instagram page under our highlights. Just go to the Movies Q&A. You can see me itch my cheeks for absolutely no fucking reason. I don't know where I got that twitch from, and talk to Kevin about all things Kevin Smith. TheRealDebaters.ca, that's the website. There's a fresh new blog post up there from me. We're going to be blogging more and pulling off the social media, so all our fun stuff's going to be there for you guys. Go check it out, TheRealDebaters.ca. That's our merch stand, cast bios, blog, all things us. It's an easy one-stop shop, so to speak. I got nothing else for you, so I'll cue the reel, and you enjoy the show.
Made progress on this show yet.
No.
Refuses cheeseburgers are one of the only kinds of full-on meals you can say you have a bag of.
Yeah.
And
I don't mind.
I really love that.
It's bringing it to the theater that's the problem. I don't mind bringing, eating cheese. I love McDonald's. I'll say that I eat McDonald's and I don't mind eating it, but just bringing it to the theater, and it's just such a familiar smell that people will know someone bought fucking McDonald's in the theater. Who is it? And they're all looking. For
Yeah,
that
that is
person.
bold. That's confidence. I like it. It's impressive. For sure.
Watch a movie with Michael, then you'll change your tune.
Yeah.
I don't like going to movie theaters, and this makes me want to go to the movie theater. It just makes me view it as more of a challenge to succeed at.
Oh, I'll show you.
Then a system of things I have to fit into, which is like have to sit and not move for 2.5 hours, pay $1,000 for a snack. It's a bunch of things that piss me off. And, pause. I hate that.
Go on Tuesday nights when it's the cheapest. Go to McDonald's for your snacks. Probably all in double jacket, obviously, to keep them warm. And then just buy a drink or bring your own. Like
this sounds like a fun challenge now. I can't wait till movie theaters open.
Rusty, I'll take you, and we'll record the whole thing. We'll record it like
yes.
we're trying.
It's a date.
We'll record
there
it
goes
like
that sponsorship from Grant Park Cinemas.
I'll see what I can do. I got a jingle in the back of my mind.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's kick back into it here. So we finished with Sean Mcginity's powerful list. I loved your list, Sean. I love my list. I love your list.
Your list was great.
Thank you, sir. As we were talking, it was so funny that when we were starting the chat group for this, we put Rusty into it. Me and Martin were going back and forth, and then Rusty's like, "Such a pleasant level of democracy in this chat group." And I was like, "Thank you, somebody noticed. Like this is a team effort." So I was like, "I'm not gonna be like Martin, fucking no." That's just you bang it out until it makes sense. So, welcome back, Martin. Please.
I don't love my sex tape. Sorry, I have to say it. No one else was saying it. I was like, I waited. I was like, someone's got. I love Brooklyn Nine-Nine, so I'm like, someone's got to say it. I'm gonna say it. Fuck it.
Well done, sir. Well done. So Martin, please tell us, what's your 4 moments? What's your 4 songs? How you soundtracking your life?
Okay, so the songs I have are in order. And the first one is Tupac, To Live and Die in LA. And you're probably wondering, what does this have to do with Martin? I grew up in California. I lived there from 80, we moved there from the Philippines in 84. I was like 2-3 years old and lived there up until the age of 13 or 14, 94, 95, we moved to Winnipeg. So, and I mean, I just love this song because it basically encapsulates everything about living in California. And especially with rap music being such a hit during this time period, like this was one of the songs that I listened to as a kid. And for my movie, I picture this playing at the very beginning. My parents did a lot of home videos, like they had, you know, those old school JVC video cameras with the VHS things, like they had that. They had every camcorder, so everything was recorded. And I pictured the intro to my movie would be those videos spliced in with this song playing.
Nice.
So it'll be like, you know, picture of me in a big wheel, like riding around like in downtown LA or outside of my apartment and stuff like that, right? It's like that would be one of the videos
with the
like,
police motorcycle, like helping you along, like keeping all your fans at bay.
LAPD car, you know. But it would be like that home video, right, of me doing that, because there's a home video of me riding a big wheel. So nice. That would be one of them. You know, we had a lot of, because the weather was so nice in California, we always had outside parties, like barbecues in our backyards, and like especially with my family, like it was basically my parents and then my mom's brother and sister and their college friends, and then their kids was basically our social circle. So we would have parties like on the weekends, and you know, dads would be in the garages, and this was like in the 80s, right? So dads would be in the garages with their like fucking long metal hair, smoking their cigarettes, drinking their Millers, throwing darts, and then you'd have like it was also a Filipino party, so there'd definitely be under like illegal gambling in the garage as well. So there'd be like a mahjong table set up with like all like the grandpas and the grandmas and the moms playing mahjong and betting money for it and stuff like that. Dads playing cards. I like to think that there would be like a picture of me playing baseball from when I played in LA. Things like that. That would be the intro. I think that is just a fun little. That's the reason why I picked that song. It's a good intro. It describes LA, growing up in LA, and that time. And with all those videos, I think that would be a cool way to start my movie.
It does encapsulate the 90s California. I watched the video just before we started this. Totally just sounds like 90s California to me. Yeah. It's great. It was a great
like choice. Riding bikes with your friends and stuff like that.
And the video too, yeah. The video is kind of like what you described with a huge budget and him and all his friends.
It really is.
Yeah, it's a great choice.
Machiavelli. It's off the Machiavelli album, which is like one of the most controversial Tupac albums, because that was where everybody's like, he's still alive, right? Like he's releasing shit after his death. Machiavelli.
No, this was before. This was before.
To Live and Die in
He
LA.
was still alive in Machiavelli.
Was he?
He was still alive. It was like Life After Death, I think, was Tupac. I think that was his one that came out after he died. But Machiavelli came out in like 96.
Because isn't Machiavelli? Oh, that's right. It did. It came, but
95, 96.
No, I swear, because didn't Machiavelli stage his own death? That's why everybody thought Tupac.
No, Machiavelli was just a person like he was like a political philosopher who basically like he ruled like you would an army. It was very that a lot of the Sopranos, and like the Italian mob, they would base their rule on Machiavellian politics.
Okay.
It's basically cutthroat. Like you're always looking behind your back because you never know who's going to stab you to get ahead of you. That was like what Machiavelli was. He was like a political philosopher.
All right. I am ill informed. That is, thank you, sir. So we have.
That was 8 years of a political science degree right there. That was
going to say you went to school for this, obviously.
That was the first time I used it.
That was a textbook answer, Martin. That was well done. All right, what's your second one, buddy?
Second one would be I just love this song. It's "Come On Eileen" by Dexy's Midnight Runners. This is like Mike mentioned, we used to work together. That's how we met each other, and that was the same thing for me. I had a similar time in my life where that was the most fun I've had, I think, ever, is my 20s, all the way up to my very early 30s. And basically what we did was just we would bartend, and then when the shift's done, we'd head over and then party all night. Either at like one of the local, like either at a live nightclub at the time,
shout out to
one of the
Alive
clubs in the city like Whiskey Ditch or something like that, and then we go party until like at a house party afterwards at 4 a.m. And I think one thing that I would like for this one, sorry, I wanted to go back when I did the Tupac Dynamite. There was actually a video of my parents telling me, a home video telling me like, do you want to move to Canada, and me like crying and saying no. that's where I think that Tupac song would end, and then the actual movie would start, and then my movie would start. I think the movie for me would start when I started working at Don Pedro. So me waking up, going to work as a bartender, partying, and I wanted to do this shot. The way I wanted to shoot this scene was it would be like end of shift, we're cashing out, and then it would be like a GoPro attached to my head, so it'll be filmed in the first person. So me just going out, shot, smoke weed, do some MDMA, do a line of cocaine. Like that's what basically my life was at that time. It was just a party time, not like no responsibilities. I was still living with my parents, whatever, just having the time of my life. I think that would be a fun kind of way to film that portion of my life. And I love this song because it's a song that doesn't get used a lot in soundtracks for some reason. I think I've only heard it in one movie, A Picture of Being a Wallflower, but I've never heard this song, and I love this song. It lyrically has nothing to do with my life, but I think it's just a fun song that you can listen to while this scene is happening in my movie.
It's almost too obvious of a cliche choice. I'm not saying for you. I'm saying that's why we maybe haven't seen it in so many other movies, because it does just sound like joy. It just sounds like musical theater joy to me. And I've never actually totally loved it, but it does sound like joy. Yeah. And I think it's a good choice for that reason. Yeah.
Sean, what about you?
Oh, I have an opinion. So I like the Tupac beginning. I see, as soon as I see that, I can imagine this is a comedy. This is a kid who's enjoying his growing up in LA. It's always sunny, blah, blah, blah. And then the final scene not the final scene, but the final part of that scene where we're moving to Canada, and then you start crying. And I think instantly the next song should be like some Leonard Cohen moopy song to show how happy you were to how depressed you are now that you're going to go to Canada. I think that might work a little bit better, but I have a problem with "Come On, Eileen." I do. My mom's name is Eileen.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So that song about my mom, it just makes me cringe inside. So it's just a personal thing. I can't.
I think I'm with you there. I would agree. Perhaps a more depressing song might be the next move, dynamically. However, I was wanting to say that I want to give you credit for providing me like the shot setup and actually the scene change. And
Yeah.
you're the
Beautiful.
first one to do that so far. You're writing an actual movie that's got comedy and a joke and none of these
So
other
the Come On Eileen song wouldn't come on right away. It would be like, so at like, the way I shot this in my head was basically when I cried, the video, and then the next thing is me waking up to an alarm clock, and I'm in like my 20s, and then I would go to work, and it would be kind of like the first part of the movie would be kind of like waiting, just working at a restaurant, not like shooting the shit, just funny stuff, and then the party would be after that, and then
Oh, so you're using silence as your soundtrack up until Come On.
yeah,
Eileen.
it's not like one after the other.
Brilliant.
It's not like one after the other. There's like time that happens between that stuff like that. So I was just that's what I wanted.
I got you a couple more points there.
I agree.
I have
Michael.
I have a love for this song, but it doesn't. It actually comes from a movie, and the reason I like this song in general, but I like that it was used in a movie, but not in a sense used as a song in the movie. In Zack and Miri Make a Porno, when they're trying to come up with the title for the movie,
Yeah,
I forgot about that.
He's
I
like-
forgot about that too.
he's like, "Come on her tits,
Which
come on her
makes it more
face,
cringeworthy for me.
No,
come on Eileen."
dude, I met a waitress with the same name as my sister. Can't even. She was a nice lady, and I was like, nope, can't do it. You have the same name as my sister. This is not going to be nice.
So I'm guessing Kevin Smith couldn't get the rights for the song, but still wanted "Come On Eileen" to be in the movie somehow. So it was worked perfectly into, and that's my favorite scene in that whole movie when they're like, what do you?" And then someone, "Come on Eileen," and they're like, "Yeah, that's the best title for a porno." So well done, Martin. Like, yes, it's definitely not used, but when I was listening to it, I've always thought it was The Cure. Before I really knew it was Dexy, it's very Cure. It's very
I did too.
80s. Like he sounds very Smith. It doesn't it's very in that 80s experimental, Flock of Seagulls, The Cure, Smiths, all that realm of really fun it's almost organ stop to me. Like it's just silly and it does highlight it would be a great backdrop for what I know we were doing together at the time. Like it would almost be, we were very Dr. Gonzo and Hunter S. Thompson, if you will. So that's what I'm imagining me and Martin with that song. That would be our version of going into the circus, let's say.
Yeah.
All right.
That's a good way of describing it, like a circus.
It is.
The
It's
circus
just
feeling it gives you that's cool. I like it.
not a calm moment, but like a fun moment.
Yeah.
Right?
A little bit crazy.
Yeah.
Lions and tigers and bears and oh my, What's your third one?
Third one is Dan Orbar, King of a One-Horse Town. I don't know how I discovered this song. I don't know if someone sent it to me, but it was just on my iTunes favorites. I love this song. It really resonates with me because it's just about breaking your comfort zone and being afraid to do that. That's what the song's about. And for me, like this song would take place, after, right, like probably sometime after I quit Don Pedro's. Like I was, all I was doing was I wasn't doing anything with my life. I was basically going out every weekend, getting drunk, getting high, partying, doing nothing. And, that eventually gets old. And I mean, I wasn't living very healthy at the time. And it was, I think I think there was a point in time where my taste buds started tasting differently. And I'm like, oh man, I got to stop doing this. This is not sustainable. And it was at a time in my life where I was figuring out what to do. And I think this song for me is a scene where I was at a bar. I can't remember who. I think it was a Canadians bar. I can't remember who I was with.
Boy.
But like I was 30.
That's the worst.
And I'm in a Canadians bar, right? And I'm 30. And someone called me to come out. And I went out and I was having a drink. And I was just like, I flashed back to the first time I went to a bar. And it was a Canadians bar. And I was 18 or 17. I can't remember if I snuck in. But anyways, I was young. And then I saw these older guys there who were like in their 40s. And I'm just like, I look at them and I'm like, man, that better not be me when I'm and then I just had that moment of realizing, like, Dota, if I don't figure out what I'm doing with my life, that's gonna be me, and I don't want that. Like, that could be cool for some people, but I think I could achieve more with my life. And I had that moment of clarity where I'm just like, boom, things have to change. And it was at that point where I I left the bar and I started wandering. Like this was where the soundtrack would play. Me leaving the bar, kind of wandering the streets of Winnipeg, wondering what am I gonna do with my life? What am I gonna do? And I just saw like a sign for open mic comedy. And I'm like, I've always been funny. I don't know if I'd be funny on stage, but I've always been funny. Maybe I'll try that. And I tried it, loved it. Been doing it for about 4 or 5 years now. Um, my first set bombed every joke except for one joke, which made the entire room howl with laughter. And I've been addicted to that feeling ever since. So it kind of turned like I have a very addictive personality. So it kind of turned up like I kind of turned to a positive addiction, I guess, in a way.
Martin, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Did it bomb like this?
Oh yes. The rest of the set, only one joke crushed, made the entire room laugh, and everything else sucked. So that was my story, and I think this is one of those things where if people, it is that moment on where I just realized like I have to do something, and I don't know what it is, but I have to do things other than what I'm doing now. And after that, I started doing things that scared me. So stand up was one thing. I had a fear of public speaking, so did that. A couple years later, I started taking up boxing. Physical violence was always something that I was very afraid of, so I took that and have been doing that ever since. Got my motorcycle license before I left Winnipeg, actually, and that was something that always scared me, so did that. So I think this is one of those things. Like this song really resonated, where do things that scare you, because you'll be surprised at what you can overcome and what you can achieve. So I think that's why this song resonates with me so much. But anyways, what do you guys think?
Preach. That's awesome. I got nothing to say. That's just beautiful.
Okay, although I always have things.
Just say it's Rusty.
I would say I loved the song. I'd never heard it. For some reason, I feel like I'm supposed to hate Dan Auerbach, like he's some sort of slimy tool or something. But I don't know. I don't know him personally, so I don't know. I mean, I've played with the Black Keys. We did a show with them at in Victoria or something in West Coast with the Sheepdogs, and I was on stage with him. It was amazing. Man, does he ever have a lot of great songs? He does. And this is his solo stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's produced totally differently. I think he's really good at putting together soundscapes that we're all familiar with. He's not that original, I don't think. And this song in particular sounds like a direct ripoff of a song by Air to me off of their album Moon Safari, which I wrote down on my notes downstairs. So I'm not going to go find it. But that was my only criticism. Otherwise, it's actually a great song and great production. It just sounds like he dragged and dropped them in from a list of pre-recorded shit to me. But it's great. I'm just an asshole. I'm sorry.
No, you're not. No.
But okay,
Dude,
so I'm gonna counter Rusty here, just like he did before. I'm doing what you did before, but basically saying the way that you described the scene, everything, the way, like I'm seeing it, like I'm totally seeing it. I guess I think I'd like to see. I like where you said where you saw those people in their fort, like you're in the bar, you're 18, 19, whatever it is, and you see those guys in the bar. And you're like, that's you at 30, or that could be you at 30. I think I'd like to see that scene where they're just in the background and you're going in the bar at 18, 19, whatever it is. And you kind of look at them. You don't really make a mental note of it, but the viewer sees it. And then when you're approaching your 30s, you're 30 or whatever, those guys are still there.
Yeah. Same.
Just as I don't know, not an Easter egg, but just some sort of shot there to see that.
Oh yeah, in this
or they
beautiful movie he's making us.
Or
Yes.
they recognize you. Hey, you're that funny guy or whatever.
Or they're like, "Where have you? We've been waiting. Come sit with us finally."
Yeah.
Forever.
Do I get this table now? Do I get my gold card to Tijuana Yacht Club?
Tijuana Yacht Club, really? Nice.
And taking it back from all I did was shit on Dan Auerbach, which was not what I should have done. I should have said that, yes, your use of it in your story. The song does remind me of a sunrise. It sounds like a sunrise to me, and the way you've put it into your storyline is that it's like I've tried something and now we're gonna see where that takes us, and so that's a good choice for that.
I'll agree with you, Rusty, in regards to the Black Keys as themselves. Very heavy, very dirty, very sexy. There's a lot there that just I never really understood what was so big about the Black Keys, but musically they're geniuses. But they are very like it's something that I could put in a lineup and have a hard time picking out from other sounds that are so. Maybe it's in the fact that he's such a great producer and not
He is.
a perfect musician. Like he knows how to put sounds together more than he knows how to make sounds happen that would marry well.
He knows how to put sounds together more than he knows how to write notes that are.
Yes, that's exactly.
He's writing riffs that we've all heard before. He's actually so good at it that he just shits them out, and they're great songs.
Yeah,
because he's a great producer too.
Yes,
he's actually really talented, and I'm just mad.
I can understand that.
Rightly
He's
so,
your
man.
Dave Grohl.
Yeah.
what
But
was that? Salieri. He's your Salieri.
yeah, your Mozart hit
Oh, yeah.
Salieri.
You know what I mean?
Ooh, good reference.
Totally. Well done, Martin. But the only what I love about it, Martin, my note is the whole One Horse Town title and how that song really talks about being, from what I understood, a big deal in a small pond, and being at the Tijuana Yacht Club. You can be a big deal in a small pond. It's the Tijuana
we were
Yacht
like,
Club.
Remember what we used to call each other? We were like Winnipeg's biggest nobodies.
Yeah. Oh
So
God.
We would get into anywhere, get into any restaurant, any bar without waiting. We would just
Any restaurant?
Yeah.
What a great name for a podcast.
Winnipeg's biggest nobody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even Carlos and Murphy's, you guys could get into.
Oh, dude. Oh, dude. We
I don't want
like
to brag, but
like, you know
Osborne
that
Village, yeah.
Wow.
Rusty, I'm going to paint a picture for you so you get a better idea. Think of Goodfellas, and when Ray Liotta walks into the restaurant for the first time, very, very similar to that. Like you could carbon copy, let's say.
That big one shot,
Yes,
that they did.
the
That
one
goes all the
shot.
way down. Friday night was for the girlfriend. Saturday was for wives.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are so bad.
Oh shit. All right. No, but yeah, that's what I liked. I liked how you created an idea in your movie, what you're doing. I see, and Rusty, you made a point of it where it's like Martin's doing it this way, I'm doing it that way. That's what we leave to chance with the show, where we let whoever is arguing we bracket it in a way that you know where to go. But you want to make a movie with this, great. You just want to look at scenes, that's also great too. So there's a lot of different ways you can approach it, but I just liked how you approached it with not wanting to be the same 10 years later, right? Like no progression. And King of a One Horse Town. If there's only one horse in the town, it's not that great of a town. So you kind of like you want to get outside of who you've been and expand and live and learn and all that shit. So that's great. What's your last song?
So
choice?
last song is called Winter Song by Head in the Heart, and I think this is gonna take place. It follows King of, it doesn't really follow, but it follows that life after King of a One Horse Town, where basically, this is gonna probably play during the end credits, and this is me leaving Winnipeg. I think this is the perfect
Like
song
for
Winnipeg.
BC? Like leaving
Yeah,
for
Winnipeg
BC?
to BC. Yeah, my parents drove
gotcha.
me, so leaving that, I think that's the end. This is actually the song I listened to when I was leaving like my house, my parents' house, to drive all the way to BC. Yeah, I think it's just like what better song to describe Winnipeg than Winter Song? And if you listen to the lyrics too, it's just like it's about that time, and it was hard to leave family and friends. It's about that time where, this chapter is come and gone to go start another chapter, but I'll be back. I'll come visit. I'll be back and come hang out. Still, we won't lose touch. But I think that's why I like this song. It's a great tune to like ride off into the sunset, I guess, too.
Yeah, your
into a
swan
new
song,
chapter.
so to
Yeah.
speak, right? Like Can I comment, or do you need some more? Yeah, go. All right. We love the Head and the Heart. I don't think you'll find anybody who doesn't love the Head and the Heart. And I think one of the most cool things about them is their ability to switch tempo mid-song. Like I've gone to see them 6 times now through Folk Fest. That one Folk Fest they were here, they did like 7 shows, so it was really easy to. I'm just using Folk Fest as the majority of where I've seen them, but I did see them at the Burt, and they really just like it. it blew my mind that they could be going down one direction and then they almost put two songs into one song, and it really allows for a lot more storytelling because you can change the tempo and you can change the timing and you can change the instruments even that they do. Like they'll just have banjo for the first half and no banjo for the second half, and it all somehow makes sense. But winter song going into winter sleep, leaving, there's a lovely transition there with what you were doing with your life and then using the song as a vehicle to carry you off into the sunset, so to speak. Because everything, you left in the winter, didn't you?
Yeah, it's well, it was November. Actually, it was a year today, so pretty much the start of winter, end of fall, end of summer, all the starting to get cold. Yeah, and I think the first I guess the first set of lyrics at the it's basically saying
goodbye.
I don't know if I made the right decision, but we're gonna find out. Like I'm hoping it's the right decision. It's a hard move, and I moved like we left. It was pretty like I applied for a job and basically didn't know I applied in the summer and I didn't know I was getting it till October, and my job started in January or December. So I basically had a couple months to just pick up everything, pack up, move out west, figure out where I'm going to live, everything. So it's just a lot of questions. Just did I make the right choice, and what's going to happen? I'm not sure. It's a scary time, but looking back now, great decision. And yeah, that's why I love the song.
That's a great fucking story. Stop
Yeah.
it! I'm crying. Now. It's like what?
I told Mike, I told Mike I might cry on this one. I was like, it was emotional.
It's fucking beautiful.
Yeah,
it's fucking beautiful. It is.
Thank you.
Do you have anything else there, Sean?
No, I got nothing. This is, I when I said earlier that I want to make this into a story about 4 separate people growing and then eventually meeting on a podcast, that would be the final scene of the movie. Fuck, this is writing itself, like totally.
Take it and run with it
this now.
Yeah, take it and run with it, dude. I love it. That'd be like that's vertically integrated shit where we have a screenplay written about our podcast while we're doing it. That's nobody's doing that. Copyright.
I was gonna say, I to me that sounds like that scene in, is it the Royal Tenenbaums or is it his other movie? I went out walking.
Oh yeah.
I think it's Royal Tenenbaums because it's actually the same chord progression too. It's just starting on the major one and then walking down the major scale, and that's an undeniably sad thing to play on the acoustic guitar that always feels like it's comforting you. And I was taken by that song because I don't know Head and the Heart all that well, but I do know that there's one of the more creative bands that's out there, and they go out of their way to be all kinds of things from all kinds of music sources from all around the world. And I really like and respect that. And then to just have some sort of just straight ahead like ditty, like that's not what they usually do, which is a ditty. It's like literally a little ditty. It's beautiful. It's great. And it's so simple that it's really powerful, I think.
All right. Rusty, are you ready?
Oh, my songs now, eh?
Yeah.
Okay,
I have the list here if you need them.
well, I've got all my notes upstairs, but maybe it's great that I'm smoking and away from my notes.
Yeah,
now.
no, you can warm up here because
I'm just grabbing it here.
Okay, so I started with Green Day with Basket Case. And so that would be me in sort of like just getting into music.
No, actually the first song was The Flaming Lips.
No,
that wasn't your first?
No,
okay.
I'm out of order for him. You're out of order. You're out of order. You're all out of order. No.
I think I know my life.
I was there. I don't remember that.
Okay,
oh, so funny.
Okay, so yeah. So I started with Green Day, Basket Case, because leading up to that, I was basically just learning about music and learning who I was, teenager. 10, 12, 13. I was into the Little Mermaid soundtrack really hard.
Yes, Sebastian.
It's a good soundtrack.
It is an excellent soundtrack, and it still stands up. It's so good.
Under the Sea?
Yes. Yeah. I have recently recorded a version of Under the Sea.
In Klingon?
But not in Klingon, but I used a PVC xylophone. We'll talk about that later. Anyway, so going from Little Mermaid soundtrack into Green Day, I'm going to go ahead and try to read the little thing I wrote here.
Yeah.
And then it'll sound really stupid, and I'll just do it off the cuff after that. So, Green Day's Dookie was one of the 4 pivotal albums that catapulted me into adulthood. I was I was taken by the frantic energy, as well as the almost timeless and simplistic qualities of Green Day's melodies. However, Basket Case is so much more than a 4-chord punk song. It draws unapologetically from classical forms like Pachelbel's Canon in D, where the 4th chord is actually a minor third, instead of the more obvious and widely used major 4 chord. This opens up the rest of the chord progression to tell a slightly longer, more intricate and nuanced emotional story. 7 chords total for each round of the verse. So now I'm going to stop reading from that.
No, don't.
I did a little too much homework, I think.
Don't.
And actually, leading into that, I was a hyper child and teenager. And in fact, 2 days ago, I was finally diagnosed with ADHD as an adult. And I've always had it. And I'm very hyper, as you can tell.
Rusty?
And
Rusty?
Basket Case. Yeah.
100% same over here, buddy. I was diagnosed when I was 20.
Cool.
Yeah.
I can tell you it was an emotional day. I bawled my eyes out because I've been misunderstood my whole life. And I have so much energy. I drive people nuts. And it's just who I am. So Basket Case spoke to me because it's frantic. It's so much frantic energy. He's showing me how to write songs with so many chords, and they all sound the same. And they're all, what did I write here in my notes? Yeah, they have hundreds of songs. Like they had hundreds of songs before Dookie came out too. And I bought all those records. It really taught me about songwriting. It brought me into being a musician and wanting to be a musician for a career. It made me stand in front of my mirror playing guitar for hours and hours and hours. I taped 4 pieces of paper together and drew the Dookie album cover like exactly.
Fuck
And
yes.
I brought it to school and got made fun of a whole bunch for that. And so what did I do? I took shops class and made this Dookie thing beside me to prove them all wrong.
You sure learned them.
Yeah,
I saw that. I'm
Green
so
Day is
glad there's a
double
story.
awesome.
Oh, that's perfect.
So anyway, that's my Basket Case story.
I love it.
Sort of launched me into loving music and wanting to write songs.
You know
I like
what?
how 2 people pick Green Day. I was close to pick. Like I said too, I think I was close to picking Green Day. Radiohead as well. I was close to picking. So I mean, I like Green Day is one of those bands that if you lived during that era, how could you not listen to them, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I remember seeing them at I think it was Edge Fest at the
It was.
at the old football stadium.
Yep.
And they invited somebody to come on stage to play their song "Welcome to Paradise," and I was screaming at the front of that audience. I knew how to play.
Me.
Yes, and the guy I got on stage didn't know how to play it that well.
Oh.
Fuck.
Because I did.
Oh.
So
Oh, that's heartbreaking. Speaking from somebody who sympathizes with you and understands adult ADHD a lot and was medicated for a long time and went through all the ringer younger in my younger days, that's a perfect fucking choice in and of itself, its title, but also in its again, cacophony comes to mind, right? Like it's
the video as well is so colorful in
Yes.
my face color. I love it. Sorry.
No, you're totally right. Cut me off more. It's at that time too, like that album was also Green Day's like a storytelling punk band. It's kind of weird, right? Like it's not a common thread in punk music because you don't get a lot of time to tell stories in it, but they do. And yeah, no, I love the duality of what you're playing with.
Cool. Thank you.
Sean?
Anybody else want to rip me a new one?
Yeah.
Come on.
No,
Bring it on, buddy.
It's a very good choice. Definitely a very good choice. I like what you said, how they're kind of viewed as a simplistic in how they write. They're like a 3-chord band or a 4-chord band or whatever,
Or a 7-chord band.
or a 7-chord. But there's but they're perceived as like a 3-chord band. But no, there's 7, right? So I think there's something about the skill in songwriting isn't necessarily the notes you're picking; it's how you're picking them and putting them together. So I think they get underrated until like someone like yourself, who's an actual musician, goes in and goes, "Holy shit!" Like no,
there's a lot going on underneath that distortion for sure. There's so much going on underneath.
But let's take this back. I'm actually going to give you extra points here in that you're explaining the way your brain works with ADHD. You actually, your brain isn't working. So people may look at you, oh, it's just a simple, they can't focus, but you're way more than just that description. At face value, it's this, but it's actually, you can't see it here, but it's like it's bigger. There's more to you. There's more layers. There's 7 chords, not 3.
You're a 7-chord individual.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
And in your music, like I've listened to a lot of your stuff. I've actually seen you play I don't know how many times, but your musical, the way you change styles and even on an Imaginary Cities album, like it's all over the place. Like that's good. That shows you're not AC/DC the same 3-4 time or whatever. Like there's something.
I'm actually
bigger.
Exploring music through writing it. Like
yes,
yeah.
I'm enjoying it while I'm playing it too.
Yeah,
like, I'm like, whoa, is this gonna
Because
happen?
you
I don't know.
So I like that. That's the beginning part, and I like the next song. I know what the next songs are now.
Yeah.
So I like that's a really good starting point.
Thank you.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Should I go on to the next one?
Yes, you should.
Okay, so the next one is my grand old touring days with like Waking Eyes, Imaginary Cities, Weaker Thans, basically like all of the 2000s. Just giving 1,000,000% to not being at home, being on the road, sleeping on couches, eating shit, eating gas station chips, and sleeping in a van for 10 years, basically. It sucked ass, but it also ruled. And, it got me to where I am today, and I'm a happy guy. So do you realize, by the Flaming Lips to me is just like, I'll just read it. I've always thought of the Flaming Lips as a friend drawing me into creativity. Look how far you can take it. It doesn't matter. Everything is so over the top and in your face and sparkly and glittery. And then they release this song that's just utterly simple in its message. I can read you all of the lyrics in 10 seconds. You have the most beautiful face. We're floating in space. Happiness makes you cry. Everyone you know someday will die. Life goes fast. It's hard to make the good things last. That's the whole song. And it just hits me in my heart. It always made me feel like if I was alive when John Lennon released Imagine, that's what I would feel like if I heard Imagine for the first time. It just kind of makes you go, I'm so small. The sun doesn't go down. It's just an illusion caused by the world spinning around. We're floating in space. Happiness makes me cry. It arrests me. It makes me stop thinking about 1,000,000 things at once and makes me go, this is beautiful. And Flaming Lips also just has this way of writing emotional music, but their production is so all over the place that you really have to find that melody and the message in this cacophony of sound that he's providing you. But it's there, and Waking Eyes actually played this on a street corner for War Child for some
the War Child benefit thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
It was and we just did an acoustic version busking on a street corner, but you can find that on YouTube too. But don't. But this song means a lot to me, and so the song to me is just it reminds me of all of my touring days and what can be achieved in songwriting if you just keep your message not ego driven.
Isn't it? And it is that simple. Like that song, they make you forget that it is so simple by stretching it out and making the words flow with the music, because
they're so drawn out. Yes.
It's not like you could quickly put that into 1.5 to 2 minutes and even call it just like a transition point in an album, right? Like a sound clip from a hip hop album, how they have those intros and outros and stuff. Like you could bring it down to that, but it's almost like that message that they're trying to get across. They really want you to pay attention the entire time of the song, and using that over top of a very beautiful point or lesson learning or trying. Like, I mean, I can imagine eating mesquite barbecue chips and sleeping on a couch is great for 2 days, but then when it's 3 weeks, there comes a point, right, where it's got to be a little too much. So it's this balance of beauty and everything in between. I dig it. Martin, what do you think?
God, I loved how you picked the Flaming Lips, and I loved how you picked the album that introduced me to the Flaming Lips. I didn't know about them until until I heard Yoshimi Battles of Pink Robots Part 1 and 2, and I love this album.
That's the other great song on the record too. The
Love
Yoshimi
it.
Battles of Pink Robots. Yeah.
I love this song in particular because for me, when I read the lyrics and when I first heard the song, it just made me feel like if and just now it just made me realize like if I was to soundtrack put this song in my life, it would be when I was in the womb of my mother. And she's like talking to me saying, "Do you realize you have the most beautiful face? Do you realize life goes fast?" And just kind of saying to your
Oh,
unborn
yeah.
child, "Hey, this is
Preparation
it's
song.
preparation for life." Yeah, and I feel like it I don't know, the medley kind of makes you feel like you're floating, right?
Yeah.
So that's
Okay.
what I
And the video
imagine.
is beautiful too. The video is so simple and beautiful. Like it just looks like a National Geographic commercial for humans or something.
I'm envisioning now, Martin, just you saying that. And so okay, so in this movie with the four of us, as we're growing up and finding ourselves, I think in that moment where you're a montage of you doing the road thing, playing these places, there's a melancholy to the song, and then we start cutting back to Martin being born. And maybe even there's a scene where your mother is literally mouthing the words to the song at the same time as maybe as she's holding you. And then we go back.
Or maybe we hear the music, but it's buried
but it's
under
only
a
the
phone,
music.
and it's in the distance.
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
But then, on it.
And then part of the montage would go to Micheal kind of figuring his shit out, you know, like but it takes bits and pieces throughout the entire timeline during that song.
That'd be cool. Wow.
I'm not envisioning this happening.
Yeah, I think something's definitely
Take this,
getting.
Sean.
Yeah.
Let's make it happen. I
So-
love it.
so-
Beautiful.
1 month, John. 1 month. Can we get a first draft in 1 month?
I wrote a movie in a weekend before, and we filmed the following weekend.
Okay.
No way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can make a short out of this for
It was
sure.
brutal.
Sean, before
Have
he
you guys seen any of the new Twilight Zone with Jordan Peele directing them?
No.
No.
What? No. That's a thing.
Really?
That's a thing.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
a series.
so
Yeah.
it's
a thing.
like if you miss Black Mirror and I can't wait for new Black Mirror, watch all the new Twilight Zones. They're amazing.
Where is this?
It's online. It's on
Netflix
network.
or Amazon. I don't know.
Yeah. No, he's right. It's out there. You can get it. I think it's got
I
2
gotta
seasons.
go find that.
Yeah.
It's great.
I-
But there's an episode where somebody's on a plane listening to a podcast talking about his life on the plane that's happening, and the plane's going to go down, and he's listening.
Oh,
And it just
Jesus.
reminds me, you're talking about
Yeah.
that idea.
Yeah.
Like paralleling reality.
Rusty, before you kill it with your last two here, I just want to pause for a technical worry. I set this meeting up for 2.5 hours, Sean. If it hits 4:30, does it just quit it, or can we still keep going?
No, I'll keep going. I just went up to see the wife, gave her a kiss.
Okay.
She's playing Elder Scrolls Online right now.
No, yeah.
Accomplishments that keep popping up on my computer somehow that she just gets 5G this.
I love that.
10G because I'm logged in as her on this computer, and we have the Xbox app on her computer. So just keep seeing every accomplishment she's had for the last 2 hours.
Is she leveling up without you?
Yes, she is. She is, in fact. She just broke level 50. I'm like, you.
Okay. But my other question
No, that's
is
fine.
my
Keep going.
other question is though is that will this video kill out at 4:30 because that's when I scheduled it to?
Will it stop recording?
Will it stop recording at 4:30?
Well, if we do, then start it over again.
All right, cool.
And then we just jump back in.
Perfect. All right.
I've had to do this before, so.
Okay, so if it does do that, we'll just jump back in. All right.
Yeah.
Sorry to break the
And start from the top again.
Yes,
That's what you're
100%.
saying, right?
I'll go over from the beginning. Yeah. Okay.
Some creative editing to mash the two together. And you'll be
Totally, 100%.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got 2 from you. We've got Flaming Lips. We've got Dookie, Green Bay, Basket Case. Give us your third.
I was. Can I just add one thing?
Yeah.
That I like that song selection from the Flaming Lips, but I think almost immediately following that song, "How Does It Feel" by Zeus. Have you guys? Oh,
I know Zeus.
It's the same feel where it's like, this is really commercial. This is really. Oh wait, no, this is actually beautiful because they're both car ad songs.
Are they? Yeah.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, unfortunately. But
Well, that's the new reality
yeah,
for sure.
but that's how you make money in music nowadays.
Totally.
The only way. But anyway, sorry. just
No,
wanna
it's all
throw that in.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got to get to writing some commission songs this week too. That's how I
nice.
make money.
That's how you make
But,
money nowadays.
Yeah. Okay, so let's move on to my third song, which would be nearing the end of my touring life. Maybe like 2014 or so, 2013 to 2014. Imaginary Cities kind of came to an end, and I was at home producing a few things here and there, not really sure I was actually going to go back to school and stuff. And then the Sheepdogs called me and they said, "We need a guitar player. Do you want to do it?" And I said, "Well, yeah."
Fuck yeah.
So I went and toured with them for a couple years, and it was amazing. I mean, I got to travel on tour buses and play big shows to 50,000 people and like live that life. It was really, really amazing. But I was an alcoholic and I was not happy. I wasn't playing any of my own original music, and was kind of putting on it was insincere. I'm not a sheepdog. I'm a bearded guy, but I'm not like a 70s dude from Saskatoon. Me.
I don't own any bell bottoms.
And like you said, you can listen to any one of my albums and go from all genres. And the Sheepdogs don't even do that in their own genre. They just stick to basically one genre, hardcore. And that's okay. That's great. That's what they do. That's why they play to lots of people and I don't. And but it gets boring after a while, and I felt like I was putting on a costume, and I was drinking my way through a very long tour that was really depressing me. I was listening to specific songs that I also almost put on this list that were getting me through that really hard time. I was crying myself to sleep every night, puking myself awake every morning with vodka, and I ended up leaving the Sheepdogs in the middle of a tour in Memphis. After a show, I just told the tour manager I'm going to the airport, and I went and found a hotel at the airport and flew home, and eventually checked myself into I actually had to go to the hospital. I woke up one morning with blood coming out of my mouth and my butt because my liver had redirected all of my blood to my stomach. So my stomach was filling with blood, and I don't like that. So that comes out of your mouth and your butt. Had to go to the hospital. Seriously, almost died. I was really almost out of blood, and I was pretty gray. And I had full transfusions and stuff, and like stayed in the hospital for almost a week. Eventually, I drank again after that, and then went into detox. I haven't had a drink in years now. It's that was in
Congratulations, dude.
that happened. And so that happy story being said, I'm fine now. I'm happy and everything's good, and I'm not triggered by stuff. It's all good, guys. But the 28 weeks later theme is the most like discombobulating, awful sounding, dark sounding thing to me, because it's got this one minor note in it that doesn't work with like any of the chords that it's going over, and there's 4 chords in that chord progression, and it just builds and builds and builds, and it sounds ominous and feels like something bad's going to happen, and it just gets worse and worse and worse, and it gets worse beyond the level of worse you thought it could get. And it's scary, and it sounds like you're a zombie being chased by zombies. You got to get the fuck out of there. And that's what it's. And that darkness of that song really reminds me of the darkness I felt at that time in my life. So
Wow. Well,
there's my delivery. I dare you to make me feel bad about that. I'm just kidding.
okay, I'm gonna go first on this one. Rusty, first of all, that's amazing that you got through all that. I think I can speak for all of us
Thank you.
here. And
Yep.
I know you've put stuff like that on Instagram before, and you're super comfortable talking about it. So I'm
Totally,
glad that you
yeah.
feel more comfortable talking about it here too as well. My mother hasn't had a drink in like 27 years, so my mother was an alcoholic. I grew up with it and whatnot. So
it's common for everyone to feel like you can't talk about it, but it's so common that I really needed to be comfortable with it.
Yeah.
Because everybody drinks. Everybody drinks.
yes,
If
totally.
I'm not comfortable talking about it, I gotta go somewhere else.
You gotta go to Mars, dude. Like you gotta
can't be
be
the one leaving the room all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to be able to stick around, and
I'm totally cool with it.
that's
totally
good.
That's
Awesome.
super. That's super awesome. As for your song choice, I couldn't agree with you fucking more. I had that came up like later in the list and was like, oh, I don't want to listen to this anymore. This is not making me feel good. And and I know it because 28 days later, or is it 28 weeks later.
That's from 28 weeks later, although I like 28 days later.
Yes, and we're loose we allow for series and quadrilogies and triple.
It's 28 later movies.
Yeah, it's something to do with 28. So,
yeah.
But everything that happens in that movie is like the depression and fear that's going on with what those people are going through, because like what they're going through a zombie fucking apocalypse. So picking that for a moment in your life where you're going through some of the same things, that's fucking Kobe. That's 3 points, man.
You were a zombie, really, in a way, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of.
Like it.
Martin, what about you, sir?
Yeah, that song just gives me the chill. I love that series, but listening to that song just gives me the chills. So I think it's appropriate that you pick this song for such a hard time in your life.
It's that scene where he's running in the field, at the beginning. Is that right at the beginning?
He sees the wife, and then he sees the wife.
And they get in the river on the boat.
Yeah,
that's
a very
so impactful. That when he's running and those guitars are rocking, and it just feels gross, and I'm scared for him and stuff.
Yeah.
Sean, you got what are your thoughts on that?
I got nothing. That's perfect.
Mic drop.
That should be the name of the episode. I got nothing. We all got nothing.
No, it's a perfect song choice. It really the way it ties into the story you're telling. It's perfectly.
And the movie you're making.
And the movie I'm making. Yes.
Screenplay you're writing.
I'll write the screenplay. Michael can film it, I think. And
we
gotta score it, Rusty. And what are you gonna do, Martin? Martin's the DOP.
Director photography.
Dude, the shots.
You're already writing it
already, man.
Yeah.
Like it's perfect.
Sean, our old original member Steve Taylor is a director. Like he could direct the whole thing and get the gear from the video pool at Winnipeg Cinema. And there's potential here. This isn't just pandering. This is.
I want to point out too.
I'm 100% into actually add invested time and creative energy into this if you want. So
this is
I'm not joking as soon as you're not joking. Serious.
I just wanted to point out to you with the song selection. I liked it too because I think this is one of the only songs that was actually made for a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was one of the songs that it's an original score for a movie, and you picked it for this part of your life, which I thought was pretty interesting as well.
Well, cool. Then his next choice was actually written for a movie. I don't know if it was in the movie or not, though.
What's your next choice?
Exit music for a film by Radiohead, right?
It was written for Romeo and Juliet, but I don't know if
I don't think it was in the movie. Yeah, I don't think it was.
Was it actually written for that?
Yeah,
I didn't know that. I didn't know the story behind it. I did like, however, that you just said that, Martin, that I chose a movie from a film, but then we went into this music and it's not. I didn't know it was written for a film. I thought it was just.
I didn't either. That was the first time I knew that.
I didn't know
However,
it either.
It's the other Radiohead song that was chosen. That's apparently called something about a film. The other one we listened to, and this one's called "Exit Music for a Film." And what I've written here is the title says it all. I haven't seen this piece of music not elevate an iconic or otherwise arresting moment in a film. The song has an undeniably triumphant rise-up quality to it, while maintaining a sense of humility, as if things are far from resolved. It leaves you with a new sense of clarity, while also leaving you completely unsettled. We live in a pretty unsettled time right now, I'd say. At the climax of the song, there's an intentionally sour bass note. You might know the part, it's like, right after the bombastic, on the best bass tone ever, right after the biggest bombastic drum fill on one of the best albums of all time. So right after the drum fill that goes boom, 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 there's a sour bass note in there. And that single bass note is something I think about every time I lay down a bass track. It's true. Like that bass tone and that bass note, it's sour and it doesn't make any sense, but it colors the entire song with that sense of unsettledness.
The bass is almost the lead instrument in that part of the song.
Yeah,
I know exactly what you mean.
And the drums. And then I was so proud of myself. I even literally patted myself on the back when I wrote this earlier today. Because my wife and I were watching a documentary last night about The Exorcist, the guy William Friedkin, who made The Exorcist, the director, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys probably know way more about movies than I do.
Yeah.
But So he was talking about moments. He was calling them grace notes. It's like really like human moments. So and then he would reference Citizen Kane, like the
Orson Welles.
Rosebud.
Rosebud.
The Rosebud moment.
It's like
yeah.
your innocence is lost, right? In that moment. It's like the moment that he's talking about.
So that
for me,
bass line
that
is the
bass note
Rosebud?
is the best. That's Radiohead's Rosebud moment. Radio Real Traders. I made a movie reference.
So
And
would
that's
you?
my case.
So okay, I have questions. So that was probably my fifth or sixth pick, but I couldn't put two Radiohead songs. So the cinematic quality of the lyrical content in the beginning, wake from your sleep, you're drowning
Right after coming out of
your
detox.
tears.
Yes.
Yeah. So
that's
okay, yeah, okay, that's good.
That's specifically the opening lines. Another thing I was going to say is part of the way I listen to music and have my whole life is I've only started paying attention to lyrics in the last couple of years. I've never paid attention to lyrics, only the first couple lines of songs, really. And I'm really paying attention to the sonic and music quality of songs. And I've never really noticed what people are saying. And I just realized I should start. And like that song, the way it starts, like wake from your sleep, is memorable. And I always remember that that's how it starts. And that's, I think, why it's so arresting right off the top, too.
Isn't that funny that you're writing lyrics but you don't listen to them?
Actually, my favorite song I've written is called Away With Your Words, and it's a song about how I write. I hate writing lyrics, and now I'm not good at it, but it's probably the best lyrics.
I don't listen to lyrics. we had Michael and I had this talk before about songs. I think when Todd was on the show too, my brother, we had talked about my brother and I, when we listen to a song, it's all about the feeling of the music, and the lyrics is the absolute last consideration for us, because if the song doesn't feel like the emotion you're trying to convey, then the lyrics are irrelevant. Because sometimes the lyrics will have all this emotional punch, but if the music's not behind it, the lyrics are irrelevant. So it really comes,
and vice versa. Like it's totally a give and take. And sometimes it'll happen by accident where a lyric is so jarring that it is the catchy part,
right? Like,
and then I'll remember that lyric. Of course,
there's a song that I wrote. I wrote a poem. It wasn't intended for a song, and a friend of mine actually put music to it, and it didn't go at all. And it was like, I don't know. I don't.
That's a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Michael's the opposite.
We're similar in that way.
First.
Yeah, I'm like with what little, like I stopped playing trumpet in grade 12, so there's my musical inclination for you. But I would go with lyrics first, just because if I like knowing what I'm talking about and then finding what the story is and then marrying a melody to it, instead of trying to force an idea into something. Like if I had a happy melody, I'd want to write a happy song, where I'd rather write something and then figure out what it's going to be after, because you can write it one way and sing it another and have two different meanings, I find. But that's
totally.
So I just wanted to comment on that too. I don't know if you guys have, like, you guys remember the Outkast song Roses?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So that, like, have you heard the acoustic version of it? Like it's actually a sad song, but it sounds so happy when Outkast sing it. But there's someone does an acoustic version of it, and it's the saddest song ever. The lyrics are so sad. You're just like, this is brutal. But when it came out, when people were like, this is such a happy tune.
That's
an awesome song.
That's
that
a
whole
good
record
one.
is crazy.
Yeah.
So
that song stands out so good on that record. That is such an awesome barn burner of a tune. That one, and I've heard the same thing about Happy. The song Happy, if you actually play it on acoustic, it's pretty sad.
Yeah, it is. Oh yeah.
I don't totally agree. Maybe lyrically it's sad, but the chords aren't all that sad. I could write chords.
All right. Well, we have come to my favorite time, and now we have a drum roll to actually play before we announce.
Nice.
Yes, today's the first day where we actually can insert the drum roll live, instead of sitting here going, "Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready?" So, Rusty, this is the part of the show where you vote for anybody but yourself. So that's how we keep it democratic, so to speak. If we have a tie, We still haven't really figured out a proper way to do it because Sean has been breaking the tiebreakers. I'll try to bring her in the other room and be like, "What do you think?" And she's going in completely blind, so it's not the best way to do it. So here's hoping for
We just ended it with a tie once, right?
We did, yeah.
End with a tie once.
We did. You're right. You're right. Thank you for that, sir.
It was like a 4-way tie.
It was a 4-way tie. That was
Oh yeah, wasn't that the last episode? Was a 4-way tie?
Yeah, it totally was. Yeah. That felt kind of good for once instead of always losing.
Instead of being the loser.
Yeah. Hey guys, you want to do a podcast and shit on me? No. Anyway, so easiest way to do this now, type it into the chat group. So do you have access to the chat group on your screen there, Rusty?
Yeah, I think so.
Perfect. Yeah. So I have mine ready. And
wait a second here, let me double check.
Yeah. No, take your time, guys.
I'm going over everyone's thing in my head here. I'm having a hard time.
Chat.
I need a second.
So should I put it to everyone or just to you?
Put it to everybody because what we're gonna do is it's gonna drop in and then we'll hit
send at the same time.
Hit send at the same time, exactly. So I got the drum roll up here, ladies and gentlemen.
In all honesty, this is a hard one to do. I
agree.
Disclosure: I am gonna roll a d6 because I wanted to vote for all yours equally. So whatever the d6 rolls, that's what my vote is.
What's d6?
A 6-sided die.
Nice.
I played Dungeons and Dragons, so
yeah. I was gonna pull up my 20.
I should know that with all my Weezer cover experience.
Oh man, I don't know who to pick. This is really difficult.
It is.
I let fate do it
because they all have to work together.
It was a team effort.
Yeah, they have to come together to make a movie. So how do I pick one fucking thing?
You pick I feel how I'm basing this is I'm picking on who. It's not the best. It's just the best marriage, right? These are all great. They all work. They all have a home, right? Because they're personal and they mean something to you. And it's the first time we've ever gone, deeper than a fucking shower stall on the show. So like, there's a little bit of heart in this one as opposed to previously, Rusty, where, and I'm glad it went this way because it's the way it should go. You're good.
I'm ready.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
So, everybody got it in your chat group. Here comes the drum roll. Enter, enter, enter.
Oh, over there. Sorry, I said it in the WhatsApp.
The tiebreaker.
Wait,
Where's the WhatsApp? Where's the WhatsApp? I got it right here. I got it right here.
On the bottom there.
Okay, so
hang on. I'm not looking.
Martin wins.
Thank you.
I agree.
Marty, how do you feel winning?
What's my prize? No, I'm just kidding. No, thanks, guys. It was fun.
You get the opening scene in the movie. That's your prize.
I told Mike this is one of the
songs should we play for that?
Yeah, this is one of the ones that Mike and I have been trying to do for a while in terms of episodes. If we were just trying to figure out the right way and the right cast to do it with, and I think this was great. Like, it worked out. Everyone's pick was really good. All the stories I learned, and like I like the fact that two of you are actually musicians. So just learning. I'm not a musician, so learning about that part of it and your insights on each song was great too. So very well done episode, guys. Thanks everybody.
Thanks for having me, both or all three of you guys. I agree. It was what I found awesome about that was really getting to know how the songs moved you guys as people, and hearing it in a way that wasn't just a joke. That these songs meant something to you in your real life that existed.
Yeah,
was a meaningful part of my day.
The real life aspect that we try to bring into it can be funny, can be sad, can be weird, can be awkward. Doesn't fucking matter, right? Like, real life is what it is. Scripted life is perfect. So that's the dichotomy that we try to do, where it's like, all right, take the perfection off the screen, insert it into real life, and see if it jives. Because essentially, a movie is inspired by something from real life, so it should work both ways in theory, but it clearly doesn't. Because when we asked what Arnold Schwarzenegger character could teach us sex ed, it went really fucking weird.
We only had 3. I think 4 is the dynamic you want. I still think that's a great topic and it's a funny topic, but we just didn't have. We were down. Someone canceled last minute because of family issues. So I mean,
that was my intro episode to Real Debaters.
Yeah,
it was.
That's the one. Now, before we get out of here, Rusty, I just want to get a couple questions to you to ask your opinion on some matters, because you're the touring musician, you're the pro, you've been doing this for a really long time. When you watch a movie, are you, like you say, you don't pay attention to lyrics, but are you critiquing how the songs, how either score or lyrical, are you asking yourself any questions, or are you just letting yourself be taken away?
I prefer to let myself be taken away. And like, good editing on a song or good production on a song, you probably shouldn't notice it. You should just be enjoying it. And like a good soundtrack, I probably shouldn't notice it. I should just be feeling it and just have my hand held into whatever scene, or my tear ducts being filled with the music and the scene being married together. I really love that. But when it doesn't work, oh boy, am I all down its throat. I hate a bad soundtrack, and I hate a badly mixed movie where the music's louder than the dialogue, for example.
Yeah.
So, and I've gotten more and more into Foley. And so I really, ever since I was a teenager, watching music videos, when the drums don't sync up, it just drives me absolutely batty. And like, that's a simple thing.
Don't get me started.
The drums. Yeah. And so like when the footsteps don't meet up on a Foley thing, that drives me nuts too. And so I love making little stupid videos on my phone, and I don't consider myself a filmmaker anyway, but those things matter to me. So yeah, the way the sound marries up, I pay a lot of attention to it, but I like it when I don't have to. Yeah.
Do
When
you
it's done well, I just feel like I'm being taken for a ride by somebody who took care of it all already.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you on that in that regard. Like it's one thing to leave a coffee cup in the background. Shout out to Game of Thrones. It's another thing
I love it.
to like fuck up the
Coffee cup.
technical aspect of it, right? Like the real that's your job, where like that's an accident. I'll let that slide. I think it's funny. It's great. It made great memes, but like that's a fuck up where like you have 3 to 6 months after you make a film to time it right, find the right Foley, find the right celery to break the right bone, because somebody's ear who's a professional like Rusty Matyas is going to give you shit in the privacy of his own home, but still it's shit. So no, it's being done.
And about 1 year ago to this day, I actually recorded my first piece of celery being broken.
Really?
I shit you not. For JP Ho's Christmas record last year, there's something about crunching under the snow, and we recorded celery breaking.
That's awesome. Do you, when you pay attention to a movie, do you like something like Guardians of the Galaxy, where it is all curated songs from other artists? Or are you John Williams Disney, where you like, a scored symphony that works well with the emotions and the scenes?
A bit of both. Like if it's done right, either can work great. I like things like 28 Days Later, just to make it familiar, that we just talked about. It's a theme that the melody will keep coming up throughout the movie in different ways, like dressed up differently to be fast or slow or higher or lower or major or minor, depending on the scene. I do like that, because then your brain just is familiar with the feeling, and it sets the mood for the whole movie based on 3 or 4 notes and how you dress them up. And I do like that. But then, a carefully curated soundtrack like Rushmore or Royal Tenenbaums or whatever. I'm not even a huge Wes Anderson fan. I don't know.
Apparently you are.
Apparently I am. He makes good movies and makes good soundtracks. He curates great soundtracks, and when it works, it really works. So that I do like both of them.
We have a friend, me and Martin, who says that Wes Anderson doesn't make movies. He makes worlds. He actually he pays attention to color and palette and all of these things that are shot in a place, but made in a place that he only sees there, and how he wants to create it. So he did, like, the Royal Tenenbaums is a world. Steve Zissou is a world. The Darjeeling Limited is a world, and they all take place in the world, but his world. And I think that's what people are attracted to.
Yeah, I almost feel like if you're Wes Anderson and you step back from him and just look differently, the movie wouldn't look any good.
No.
But just in his perspective, it's fucking amazing.
Exactly.
Sorry, I forgot to ask if I could swear on the show.
It's fucking fine.
It's a little late now.
Yeah, no. It's all good. It's all good, dude. I would love to keep everybody here longer, but this is we're going long here. We're going hard in the paint, so we can start wrapping this up. But guys, thank you so much this is my favorite fucking episode. I'm sure I'm not supposed to say that. You're not supposed to have a baby, and we do this with a lot of people, but this is mine because this is one I've wanted to do for a long time. It's my favorite because it worked out the way I wanted it to. I wanted guys I talk to who I love talking with. I wanted a professional musician who knows exactly how to fucking do this. Rusty, big 10 out of 10, man. Like, thank you so much for
Thank you.
offering your...
Thanks for asking me. It's good when like I don't feel like going anywhere, but I will because you said it's time to go.
Well, you've played the game. You've proven yourself worthy. You can be knighted a debater, and I will more than likely bug you again to come on for something a little more asinine and a little less personal, so we can have a lot more fun. And because that's the normal game here. What are you working on? What do you want to tell the world about? Anything you've got in the oven right now?
Well, in our pee break earlier, I was telling these guys about I recently released a version of Bohemian Rhapsody entirely in Klingon.
I know. That's what I was hoping you'd lead with.
Yeah, I didn't know if you knew or not.
Oh, I knew. I knew 6 weeks ago at work somebody was talking about it, and that's half the reason you're here today. Like,
oh, cool.
Yeah. That's
that could tie into like some ADHD qualities for sure. Where I like quarantine and like, what's the hardest thing I could do?
Okay.
I'll do this. So I just did it.
How hard was that to do? I want people to get a little bit better understanding of it, because it got some traction, man. There's no way that video did not, like, I saw it everywhere. I heard everybody talking about it for a minute. So like, what went into learning Klingon?
Well, actually, the hardest part probably, well, there were two hard parts. The hardest part was recording it first. So what I did was I took the MP3 of the song, brought it into Pro Tools, and then I had my friend Glenn Radley, who's a drummer, come down and use the song as a guide. So he had it in his headphones, and he was playing the drums to it. So he used that and played along to the song, and then I had harvested my drum track. And on top of that, I built the rest of the song. And so I spent 2 or 3 days in the studio in my underwear, sweating head to toe by myself, running back and forth from the control room, grand piano, and learning like 10 seconds of the song at a time. And then going back and then recording it, and then running back and doing the next 10 seconds. And then I did the bass, and then I did the guitar. And then we actually hired a local speaker of Klingon to come into the studio and guide the singer I hired, who's a musical theater legend guy, Ian Cameron. Sounds just like Phantom of the Opera. It sounds amazing. To actually give it the delivery it required for it to even be like a worthwhile idea. It needed to be sung really well, or it would just be a funny idea in my head. And so this guy's an incredible singer. And we had and I found the lyrics translated online on Reddit. And this lady came down and helped us, guided us through all the pronunciations, and man, does it sound good. Dude, we got Carrie Latimer from Nathan, who plays theremin, Juno award-winning theremin player. She does the main like do 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 on theremin, so it's super Star Trek-y. It's perfect. It's great. I love it.
It is literally.
If I never make music again, I'm fine. That's what I need. That's what I wanted to make. And now I did. So I'm happy.
No, when I heard about it, because like where I work is it's in construction, so I didn't think that the construction world and the Star Trek Klingon world would somehow connect outside of me interjecting and making that happen. Like, I would have to be the one to bridge the gap. But one of them came to me and they were like, "Have you heard about this guy? He made this," and I was like, "He's a very talented musician. Just know that, okay? Like, there's like, because they don't know you at work, right?" So I was like, I was like, "There's more to this guy than just this, but this is fucking awesome."
You know,
like,
it's so funny because, like, it was great. CNN called me. Australia called me.
Right?
It was awesome. I was getting calls from big words that you say in movies. Like, Australia's calling. And so we did.
That's going in our film, by the way. There's going to be a scene where Australia calls you.
Calling.
Yes, Australia's calling you.
I did. I took a screenshot of my phone because it said like the plus and it said Australia.
Yeah,
It's amazing. But anyway, we performed a section of it live on one of their talk shows from my living room, and I realized afterwards when we watched it, we were victims of like nerd making fun of.
Yes.
Making fun of us. And I can't believe I didn't put that together. That people would think I'm a nerd for doing this. Of course they think I'm a nerd for doing this. I'm such a dummy.
But like, hang on. How was the Trekkie reception? Like, did Trekkies contact you and be like
This is gonna be the Trekkie wedding song. I'm just gonna say that right now.
Oh,
this
good
is
Lord,
gonna be
yes.
the Trekkie wedding
I
song
get-
for every Trekkie wedding.
I get like a comment on the video like daily that from a big Trek fan that validates my day. For sure. Yeah.
Because like, who fucking cares what the rest of the world thinks? There's like Trekkies are the ones that you would have to have the love impress. Like, who cares?
Well, I have been saying since the beginning, since I started making, for me, like Queen and Star Trek are two beacons of peace and love and kindness and understanding and equality. And to put them together made sense to me. Like, as far as where entertainment was in the world at that time, it's about as inclusive as you can get. And to put the two of them together just feels good and nerdy.
Oh, all right. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. Rusty, thank you for your education. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your humor. It was a blast. Thank you for your personal stories to everybody. Martin, Sean, I feel like I've gotten to know I've known Martin for over 10 years. I got to know him a little bit better today. So that's what I was hoping would be kind of like a subplot to this, was four bros getting to know each other a little closer. Sean, where can people find your podcast, buddy?
Seanmcginity.ca is the website, or you can look up Seangeek podcast on every freaking player you can look it up in. iTunes, Spotify, all those things. All social media is at Seangeek Podcast, so find me on Twitter. I'm very prevalent there, and that's where I'm going to be sharing Rusty's song. Yeah, that's me. It's a podcast about geek dads talking geek culture.
Love it.
It's a really great podcast. I loved being on it. I love the fact that Sean loves being on this one. This is a lovely little side pocket of podcaster friendship. But we're all on Podiant now. Witch Police Radio, Seangeek Podcast, Beaver Does Movies, and the Real Debaters have all moved to Podiant. And Sean was a big helping hand, as well as Sam from Witch Police and Beaver. We have a little messenger Podiant chat group going on right now, which is great. So shout out to Podiant as well for making our transition so easy and being on your network. That's
Thanks,
super.
Mark.
Yes.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks to the CEO who sent a message to Sean saying, "Hey, thanks for joining up. Would you like to talk?" Like, I don't think, if you're out there and you want to start a podcast, I don't think you'll find another.
I don't know why that happened.
Yeah, it's the coolest thing. It's a personal
You
touch.
say no?
No, of course I went on.
No, they FaceTime.
No, thanks.
I'm fucking still waiting for mine.
That was the weirdest day ever. There was two things that happened that day. I'm going to share the other story on Monday, or I'm recording on Monday with the other story. We're having that person on our show on Monday, which it'll be a surprise.
That's sweet.
It's a big name. I don't know. It's a big name to me.
Yeah, no, that's you were telling me about
in the
that.
same day.
I will look forward to that one, sir. Martin, you're going to give me your comedy dates that are coming up. We're going to throw them in the episode so people can see them there. So we'll advertise for you through that. Anybody who's a first-time listener to the show, if you've gotten this far, we thank you so much. We love doing this. We have a lot of fun doing it. If you want to follow us, it's therealdebaters.ca. That's where you can follow the show. You can see cast bios. You can see all the information on Rusty once the episode is up there. We'll have a video link to the Klingon Bohemian Rhapsody page as well, because that needs to be shared far and wide. I think that could probably fix the world right now, in my opinion. It's not a stretch. So yeah, all things Real Debaters. Our merch station's there too. Skateboard machine is still on. So if you want a skateboard deck, cell phone case, tote bag, whatchamacallit, what's a who's it, whatever doodad you can think of, we have it there. Just click on the merch tab. And if you want to send a show, an email, it's therealdebaters@gmail.com. We take requests. We'll give you shout outs on the show. All that good fun stuff. We like making this a community effort. I got nothing else. In Winnipeg, it's been Michael Petrow. And who else? Sean, are you there?
I am still here. Seangeek.
Martin?
Martin from Vancouver.
And our special guest, Rusty.
From Winnipeg.
Have
a good day, everybody.
Bye-bye, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. All right. Don't go anywhere yet, guys. Don't go anywhere yet. Totally.